So over a year now, I've been planting trees and plants in my yard. I finally decided it was time to do it, and I planted a number of palm trees. One type of palm tree was one like this. This is called the Canary Island palm tree. It's kind of interesting. It's supposed to get to 35 or 45 feet tall. Unfortunately, that takes a very long time. I'll probably be dead by then, so bummer. So I decided I'd look around and see if maybe there was anything that would help it to grow a little more effectively, and I was on a number of professional sites and kept running into this thing called mycorrhizal fungi. I'd never heard of that, so I looked it up a little bit more. It turns out that naturally in the soil that we have is this mycorrhizal fungi. It produces this support system that's just amazing, but because when we excavate for housing or erosion or things like that, it takes it out of there, and without that support, plants suffer. Here, listen to this. Mycorrhizal fungi form an intricate web that captures and assimilates nutrients, increasing the surface absorbing area of roots 100 to 1,000 times, thereby greatly improving the ability of the plant to access soil resources. Several miles of fungal filament can be present in less than a thimbleful of soil. Mycorrhizal fungi increase nutrient uptake not only by increasing the surface absorbing area of the roots, but also by releasing powerful enzymes into the soil that dissolve hard to capture nutrients such as organic nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, and other tightly bound soil nutrients. This extraction process is particularly important in plant nutrition and explains why non-mycorrhizal plants require high levels of fertilizers to maintain their health. Reintroducing mycorrhizal fungi in areas where they have been lost can dramatically improve plant performance with less water and fertilizer and at a reduced cost. Now, I had never heard of that stuff. And it's kind of interesting that the thing that was visible, the plants, the trees, was greatly impacted by the stuff that wasn't visible down below. Now, it's kind of interesting. I found out that I can actually take this drill and I can drill into the soil and into the roots, and I can inject, and this is mycorrhizal fungi, right into that so that it will grow this superstructure and bring it together and hopefully make it work. Who knows, maybe I will see this tree be tall before I'm dead. You know, I got to thinking about that relative to God's truth. It's kind of interesting that in our text today we talked about how the northern kingdom was being destroyed. And if you remember, God made the statement that the northern kingdom was destroyed because of lack of knowledge. You see, the bottom line is that they had stripped out the core of what they were supposed to be. And through the process of doing that, specifically through losing God's truth, they fell apart. Guys, the same thing happens to us. You know, we get stripped out of the foundation that we need through sin. Gets out, the very core of what we need to be able to be successful comes out. And so the end result is we can end up just kind of getting by when it comes to God. And so we need that foundation, that structure underneath the soil to be able to help us to grow and be what we need to be. But here's the really cool thing. Just like I can take this drill and I can actually inject mycorrhizal fungi into the soil and cause it to grow and develop, you and I get a chance to do the same thing. You know, in Psalm 119, verse 11, it says, your word have I hidden in my heart that I might not sin against you. As you and I have an opportunity to inject God's truth into our life, sin destroys it. Sin wipes out that superstructure, that foundation that we need to be able to be great. By being able to inject God's truth back in there, we get to reapply that foundation that enables us to grow and develop and really be successful. It's kind of interesting that what we see up above us, that basis of how we view other people and view ourselves, it's the stuff underneath that we don't see, the foundation based in God that enables us to be great. So it just occurs to me that you and I need to be able to have the courage to step forward and say, you know what, I want to see my life be awesome. I want to see it be everything God intended for it to be. And to have that, I'm going to have to inject God's truth. Just like this mycorrhizal fungi, I'm going to have to inject that truth in to support and give me the strength and ability to do what I need to do in my life so I can be what God intended for me to be when He created me. Together this week, let's inject that foundation more effectively so that we can be everything God wants us to be.